Most men want to be strong, and not in a loud way, not in a performative way. They want to feel solid inside themselves. So when life tests them through pressure, conflict, rejection, or responsibility, they look for something to hold on to. And many men end up holding on to the wrong thing. They believe strength looks like endurance without complaint, emotional restraint, or carrying everything alone. They believe strength means being unaffected, unmoved, untouched. But what men often call strength is something else entirely. It's tolerance, and tolerance isn't the same as strength. Many men think strength means pushing through without reacting. They believe if they don't complain, don't ask for help, and don't show strain, they're strong. But enduring everything silently isn't strength, it's tolerance. Strength isn't how much you can carry without breaking. It's knowing when something is costing you too much. A man who never speaks up isn't necessarily strong. He's often just absorbing pressure quietly. Real strength includes awareness, the ability to notice strain before it turns into damage. If your definition of strength requires constant sacrifice of yourself, it won't hold long term. Let's talk about how this idea forms. And most boys are taught early that strength is about not needing relief. You're praised for handling discomfort, for not asking for help, for staying quiet when things are hard. And at first, this builds resilience. But over time, it builds something else too. It teaches men to confuse capacity with endurance. Endurance says, I can keep going no matter what. Strength says, I know when something needs attention. Those are very different skills. A man who believes strength means tolerance often ignores early signals. He ignores exhaustion. He ignores resentment. He ignores emotional overload. Not because he doesn't feel them, but because he believes acknowledging them means weakness, so he pushes through. Until one day, he doesn't feel strong anymore. He feels numb, irritable, disconnected, and he doesn't understand why. Strength isn't ignoring discomfort. It's listening to it before it becomes damage. Men who pride themselves on endurance often miss the early warning signs. Fatigue, frustration, emotional withdrawal. They don't stop because stopping feels like failure. But strength isn't about never slowing down. It's about adjusting before something breaks. If you only measure strength by how much you can tolerate, you'll eventually confuse self-neglect for discipline. And that always comes at a cost. Here's a pattern I see often. A man stays in a situation that drains him. A job, a relationship, a role he's outgrown. He tells himself, this is just what strong men do. He endures, he adapts, he stays quiet, but inside, resentment builds. Not because he's weak, but because strength without self-respect becomes self-erosion. Let me tell you a short story. There was a man who prided himself on being reliable. He never said no, never complained, never asked for relief. People depended on him and admired him for it, but slowly he started feeling empty. Not burned out, not depressed, just hollow. What looked like strength to others felt like self-abandonment to him. That's the danger. Strength that ignores your inner experience eventually turns against you. Many men confuse reliability with strength. They think being strong means always being available, always enduring, always holding it together. But strength without boundaries isn't strength, it's self-sacrifice. A strong man knows his limits, not because he's fragile, but because he respects himself. Endurance is impressive, but sustainable strength includes knowing when to stop, adjust, or speak up. If your strength costs you your sense of self, it's not strength anymore. There's another misconception here. Like some men believe strength means control of emotion, control of situations, control of outcomes. So when something feels uncertain, they tighten. They suppress emotion. They double down on logic. They avoid vulnerability. But control is not strength. Control is fear management. Strength is adaptability. When men rely on control to feel strong, they often struggle in relationships. They minimize issues. They dismiss feelings. They stay calm instead of engaged. And they think they're being strong. But what others experience is distance. Strength that disconnects isn't strength, it's self protection. Strength isn't control, it's flexibility. Control tries to eliminate uncertainty. Strength learns how to move within it. Men who rely on control often feel strong on the surface, but rigid underneath. Real strength doesn't require domination or suppression. It allows movement, adjustment, and response. If staying strong means staying closed, that strength won't survive change. Let's reframe this clearly. Strength is not how much you can endure. It's how well you respond. It's knowing when to push and when to pause. It's staying grounded without becoming hardened. And most importantly, it includes self-respect. If you're noticing that what you've called strength has sometimes felt like quiet exhaustion, pause here for a moment. You don't need to judge it. Just notice it. And if this perspective is helpful, you're welcome to stay connected. This channel exists to help men refine strength, not abandon it. And men who redefine strength often notice something surprising. They don't become weaker. They become clearer about their limits, clearer about their needs, clearer about what they can give without losing themselves. Strength isn't proving you can handle everything. It's knowing what you can handle sustainably. Men who respect their limits don't lose power. They gain stability. They don't collapse under pressure because they're not carrying unnecessary weight. Strength that includes self-awareness lasts longer than strength built on endurance alone. So, what does real strength look like? It looks like a man who can say no without guilt, who can ask for support without shame, who can feel pressure without ignoring himself. Strength is internal alignment, not constant resistance. Strength isn't how much you can tolerate. It's how well you can stay aligned with yourself under pressure. Endurance without awareness erodes you. Strength with awareness stabilizes you. If you've been carrying more than you should just to feel strong, it might be time to redefine what strength actually is, because real strength doesn't disappear when you slow down. It becomes clearer. Let's close here. If this shifted how you see strength, let it settle. You don't need to change everything. Just notice where endurance has replaced awareness. And if you want more conversations like this, calm, grounded, and focused on men's inner experience, you're welcome to stay connected, because strength isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about carrying what's yours and setting down the rest.